Snap!
So we had this great idea for a new video. We thought, okay, we've got all these silly songs, and they're all over the place, like one per show, and then we've done our sing-along videos, and each one of those has its own silly song, which of course you'll never see unless you bought that sing-along video. Gee, it's really an obligation to try to pull all these together and give them to people so that they can, it's for the people.
It's for the people.
Of the people, by the people, for the people. They need their silly songs in one easy-to-carry package. But then we thought, well, wait a minute. Which one is the silliest? I mean, just out of our own curiosity, what do people think of all these songs? How would they rank them in silliness? And that hatched the idea of, okay, let's do a whole contest, a campaign where people can vote for their favorite silly songs, and then we'll do a video that counts them down, number 10 to number 1, like Casey Kasem, and gives you the silliest silly song of all time, as picked by the fans.
We've asked our loving and loyal fans to cast their votes for their favorite silly song.
So then we got kind of excited because that was a fun concept.
We wanted to fashion the show around the pirates, so I took a poll.
This is where things started to go wrong.
So I sent out an email, please send me your 3, favorite silly songs, and I came up with a list. From that list, the Pirates That Don't Do Anything were number 7, which worked to our advantage because that would be great because there would be that conflict. They'd come up, earlier in the poll, close to 10. They'd be upset about, and they tried to rig the election to go their way. So what ended up happening when the votes started to come back in was that
for a long time, the Pirates were coming in number 1.
They were coming in number 1. It was Pirates and Hairbrush, and they kept passing back and forth, and we were sweating it out, but we realized that no matter what, it was either going to be 1 or 2, so this script that we had wasn't working. It just wasn't. But we had already animated it, and so, or almost finished animating it, and it worked out really well. It was surprising,
The will of the people
prevailed.
Overruled the will of the staff and made for some rather tense editing moments.
That's right.
Endangered
Love.
Yeah.
Yes. Oh, that one has a
that has a story behind it.
It's a curious mammalian sensation.
It started out, Mike,
lack of
every now and then Mike comes up with a silly song idea that you'll never see because I know how many letters we'd get.
Initially, Larry was watching a cooking show about a Cajun chef who, and the name of the first verse was albino manatee. So we changed it up a bit.
That went out the window.
So Larry is watching this ridiculous soap opera about manatees and love, in all the while having his little stuffed manatee on the couch who he tangos with, during the song. So it's a tango style song.
Right, and that is actually one of all the songs that Kurt's done. To me, that's one of the most impressive because he literally, studied classic tangos and took them apart so that he could build this one. And it's so accurate to classic tangos, it just blows me away. It took like a year, but it was worth it.
The Dance of the Cucumber.
Larry will be performing the traditional Argentinian ballad, The Dance of the Cucumber, in its original Spanish. Bob the Tomato will translate.
Dance of the Cucumber came about while I was dating my wife. My wife is a native Spanish speaker. And one day we were driving around in the car, and she had this tape on I forget the name of the singer, but he sings a song called Los Americanos, which is it's a song about a guy is singing in Spanish and he's sort of poking fun, at North Americans.
That's not very nice.
Well, it's funny. It really is. It's funny in Spanish. See, so the dynamic of her explaining the song to me in English, which was basically, I'm a North American, she's sort of making fun at me, of me explaining that to me. I just thought that was a hilarious dynamic and thought it would be, great to do a song like that between Bob and Larry while Larry is singing something in Spanish and Bob knows how to translate and is realizing that he's being made fun of as Larry is singing. So I thought that was really funny.
He wishes he could sing strong and sweet like the cucumber,
Pero no puede.
but he can't.
Ni siquiera dar un silbido.
Can't even whistle. All right, that's it, senor. The Water Buffalo song.
When we made the first VeggieTales video, I had this notion that there should be a little short something in the middle, and then at every show, it could be something else, just completely different. So for the first one, I thought, okay, let's just do this little silly song, this just goofy little song. And I was actually, that was the Water Buffalo song. It was the very first silly song.
The Water Buffalo song.
Oh, that's a nice one. The grandfather of silly songs. The one that started the whole thing.
Which worked great. Everybody loved it, but it was never intended to be like a recurring thing. It was just the silly thing we did on the first show.
Everybody's got a water buffalo. Yours is fast, but mine is slow. Oh, where'd we get them? I don't know, but everybody's got a water buffalo.
We got to the second show, God Wants Me to Forgive Them, and I didn't want to do another silly song because we'd already done that. Been there, done that.
Stop right this instant! What do you think you're doing? You can't say everyone's got a water buffalo and everyone does not have a water buffalo. We're going to get nasty letters saying, "Where's my water buffalo?"
And then we started getting letters immediately, like right off the bat, saying, "Where's the silly song with Larry? What'd you do with the silly song with Larry?" And my first reaction was, wait a minute, when did we promise that there was going to be one on every show? We never said that. I never promised you a silly song on every show.
I beg your pardon.
And then we thought, okay, they seem to like the silly songs.
The pirates who don't do anything.
We are the pirates who don't do anything. We just stay at home and lay around.
Yeah, the Pirates song, actually,
Where'd that come from?
way back when, I was actually, before we started VeggieTales, I was on tour with the Continental Singers, who are a singing group who travel around the United States, and Archer also went to Europe.
He was the sound man.
I was the sound man for the singing group. I was on the trip, and we had a few people around us, and we were just being goofy on the bus, and I started making up a song about never being to Boston in the fall, because in the fall, in the tour, we were actually going to be in Boston, and so I started singing about never doing this and never doing that and never being to Boston in the fall, and it got really goofy, and I really liked it.
I didn't know that.
You didn't know that?
No.
Yeah. So I had that part of it, but I thought, I wanted to do a song about pirates. I thought it'd be really funny. I really liked the dynamics. Just the personalities I wanted to put together were Larry, Paul, and Lunch, because they were just, really strong, oddball characters, and I thought putting them together as pirates would be really funny. And just thinking about an angle about pirates, what would be goofy about pirates? So if there were pirates that didn't do anything, if they were just lazy and sat around and did nothing, that would be hilarious.
That's funny.
Yeah, so that's kind of where that song
He's
came
no
from.
dummy.
That's right. I can connect things like that in my brain.
The hairbrush song.
Our curtain opens as Larry, having just finished his morning bath, is searching for his hairbrush. Having no success, Larry cries out,
Oh, where is my hairbrush? Oh, where is my hairbrush?
The way Mike had written it, all of the lines, Pa Grape saying,
I think I saw a hairbrush back there.
those weren't sung, they were all spoken. Mm-hmm. So it was Larry singing, where is my hairbrush? And Pa coming in saying, I think I saw a hairbrush back there. And we got into the booth to record it, and my wife, Lisa, was junior. She came in to do her line, which she was supposed to just say, oh, why do you need a hairbrush? You don't have any hair. But Kurt Heineke had already scored it, had already done all the piano. So the piano bed was exactly as it is now. It didn't change a thing. And when Lisa got in there, instead of saying, why do you need a hairbrush? You don't have any hair, she followed Kurt's piano score and sang it.
Why do you need a hairbrush? You don't have any hair!
And it just, cracked us up. We just fell out of our chairs laughing. And it was genius.
Magic.
the end.
Far, far away in the land of galoots, where the bigglebag trees bear their bigglebag fruits, and far lily bushes all blossom in yellow, and thimbuttle plants squirt snowberry jello. Here where the mountains of Rocky Magoo rise high o'er the meadows of Gilda Manju, where sunsets are painted with purple and blue, you'll find a small town, not much bigger than you.
It's a wonderful tale, and it's a nugget that tells all of us that we are uniquely made, each and every one of us.
The Snoodle's Tale is, for me, a really special story. I had this picture in my head of this little parable that I wanted to craft in this little world. And the goal was not just, how would Phil tell that story, but the goal was, how would Dr. Seuss tell that story? This was a story where it was more about the message. Kids come into the world and they want to do everything, and they think they can do everything because no one has told them they can't. But then as they grow, eventually peers come into the picture. And when peers come into the picture, the messages they've gotten back have changed as they go to other people and ask the question, what did I look like when I did that? That instead of, that was great, that was wonderful, you look beautiful. The messages all of a sudden as you get older start to change to, you know what, you look silly when you did that, or you looked foolish when you did that. But ultimately, we can't draw our self-image from our peers. We need to draw it from our Creator, because only the one who made us can see us the way we truly are. Only when you see yourself the way God sees you do you have a true picture. And that is so freeing, that's how you can sing, that's how you can dance, that's how you can soar.
Well, right now, we're working on a really fun story. It's called The Sumo of the Opera. And it's basically if you took the Mikado and Rocky and maybe tossed in a little WWF.
If you want to know who we are wrestlers of Japan.
Larry the Cucumber plays a sumo wrestler named the Italian Scallion.
That's no clown, it's his sparring partner, the Italian Scallion.
And that's his introduction. In each of our shows, we have what we call a nugget of truth, and it's a biblical value that we hope kids will pull out of the lesson. And in the Sumo of the Opera, the lesson is perseverance.
You never finish anything, unless it's a punchline.
There's actually 3 stories in this. The Sumo of the Opera is the main story, and then we have a little silent film called Going Up, which is kind of a takeoff on the Three Stooges. And then we have a completely new story, which is told in a new segment we have called Lutfi's Fanciful Flannelgraph. And Lutfi is a sock puppet that's done by Khalil, the caterpillar. And we've got all these 3 stories plus a silly song, Schoolhouse Polka. Larry has an accordion and a lesson to teach about vocabulary, but all done in polka style, so it's really kind of fun. It's hilarious, and I think it's one of the best things we've ever done.